Hi, so today we're gonna do something a little bit different. It's gonna be my first time doing a Q&A, and so I've asked some of you on YouTube and on Twitter, what are some questions that you wanna ask that I can specifically answer? And so I've always wanted to do a video on that, so today we're gonna do that. And also, while we're answering some questions, I'm gonna unbox some cool new things from Zhiyun, some cool accessories, and also, cereal. Always cereal. Hi again. So we're just gonna get straight into it. The first question is gonna be from Holiday Walt. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name or username wrong, but his question is, hey there, smiley face. I own the Sony a6500 and the Zhiyun Crane V2. So my question is, what are, in your opinion, the best autofocus settings for a Sony mirrorless camera used on a gimbal? Great question. So with my experience with the Sony a6500, this camera probably has the best autofocus out of all the Sony mirrorless cameras out there, in my opinion, even better than my Sony a7R III. If I remember correctly, the main setting that you want to make sure that you have for autofocus is responsive, because it allows motion to go through your scene naturally without having the camera constantly focus on an object. You kind of have to know how this camera works. So for me, whenever I'd focus on an object, I would say, for example, this box over here, and say that I want to start off by focusing on an object right over there, off camera, and then I kind of want to bring the camera back so that I can focus over here. I know that within 2 seconds, once the object is in the foreground, this camera will pick up and focus on this object. It's gonna take some practice, but you kind of have to feel out how your camera works, and that's with any camera. And I know that's weird to say because it's a camera, but you just have to feel it out. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question. And hopefully your camera doesn't end up like this. Okay, well, since this is out, we're gonna check out what Zhiyun has sent me. So this one is the Crane 2 motion sensor remote control with follow focus. I don't know what that means. I assume it's a wireless follow focus, body motion control, electronic follow focus, wireless control, OLED display. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't even know what it is, but it's amazing. We'll have to play with that soon. Okay, on to the next question. So this question is from Reggie Ballesteros, and he asks, when you're out with your family, vacations, outings, etc., not work, how do you balance capturing, documenting memories with your kids, photos or videos, and just being fully present and enjoying them without the camera? That's a really good question. So this is something that my wife found out very soon after we were married, is that I love documenting and I love taking photos and I just love being behind the camera. So I really had to learn to humble myself to balance out documenting and taking photos and spending time with my wife so that she doesn't feel left out. Trust me guys, the last thing you ever want to do if you're in a relationship is to make sure that they don't feel like the third wheel. I actually had to learn that when I did my film journal series, which is pretty much a series of my favorite moments in life. For example, one of my favorite film journals, Goodbye Summer, we were at Balboa Island and we just wanted to have dinner at the pier. My son just wanted to walk around, chasing the seagulls and looking over the ocean to see if there was any dolphins. So I just took him on a walk around the pier where we get to spend some father and son time, at the same time filming little bits here and there, but also making sure that I'm present so that when he's walking on the pier with his dad, he's walking on the pier with his dad. So anyway, it's more or less a judgment call on your part, but you're gonna have to decide what's a good balance of you being creative, but also being there for your family. Okay, what else did Zhiyun send me? This is for the Crane 2. It is a 1/4 thread metal holder with flexible pipe. It looks like a gooseneck. You can attach this part to the crane, it looks like. Oh, picture shows over here. And you can attach an accessory, and here it shows a monitor because it has a 1/4 20 thread at the very end. Oh, that's kind of cool. You can attach a mic, you can attach a light, in this instance a monitor. Interesting, very interesting. What are you doing, Zhiyun? What are you doing? Next question. This question is from Evan. He asks, best export settings for highest quality on YouTube. Well, I'm not sure about Final Cut Pro X, but I did make a video about best export settings for YouTube videos, and you can check it out with the link right over here. Hopefully I put it up. Next question is from Gareth. Gareth asks, what's your favorite video you have on your channel and why? Ooh, that's a really good question. Would probably have to be one of my very first film journals entitled Home With You. And that was a very simple video where I just came home from work and we were living in an apartment complex, and my family just wanted to go out into the playground that was there in the complex. So I grabbed my Sony a6300 and I just took that and just hung out with my family and filmed little bits and pieces here and there. But the reason why I love that is because I remember that moment in time where I was kind of frustrated with where I was at with my YouTube growth. I knew I wanted to commit and make a video a week, but I didn't really see any growth. I tried to do vlogs, I tried to do a Casey Neistat style and realized, oh man, it's not me. I'm totally being fake. And I was just so frustrated because I just didn't see any success. But once I posted that video up on YouTube, it became one of my most successful videos at that time. And it made me realize that all this time I was trying to be someone else when I'm finally being me, genuinely me, and filming things that mattered to me. And funny enough, it was that video that saw success. That was a huge learning lesson for me, and so probably a good learning lesson for you. And so if you are starting out in YouTube, don't try to be somebody else. Don't be a Casey, don't be a Peter McKinnon, don't be a Perter McKinnon, don't be me. You just gotta be you. There's only one of you. And so the only way that you're going to succeed on YouTube is you have to be you. That's it. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, let's pull up the last accessory that Zhiyun sent, and oh my gosh. It is a 5.5 inch monitor. A monitor. Zhiyun, I thought you made gimbals. I don't even know what kind of company you are now. Anyway, on to the last question. It's from Leanne, and he says, first off, I love your channel and your aesthetic. Thank you very much. Who or what are your major influences for your filming style? Another good question. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I have a filming style, at least I haven't discovered it yet, but definitely a few of my influences are Steven Spielberg. He is just a masterful storyteller, especially in his early days. I mean, Duel, that is just master storytelling, and so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I would also say Roger Deakins, probably the best cinematographer of all time. I mean, his work is just amazing, and I am in awe of what he does and how humble he is with his work. And so if you don't know Roger Deakins, look him up. And lastly, I want to say the Back to the Future trilogy. That is by far, in my opinion, the best trilogy of all time. And I love Back to the Future Part 2 because it is the one film in that trilogy that brings the first movie and the third movie together in such an amazing and dynamic way by reliving the events of the first movie in the second movie. So a lot of the film choices that Robert Zemeckis did in that movie, the pacing, the acting, the music, the timing, the relationship dynamics of the characters in the film, all that I'm sure has influenced me in some way, shape, or form, mainly because I've probably seen that trilogy hundreds and hundreds of times. I absolutely love that movie. In fact, I can probably guarantee that there's not a single one of you that can out-trivia me in a Back to the Future trivia. I guarantee it. And if you think you have the gigawatts to challenge me in a Back to the Future trivia challenge, then by all means, bring it on. Sorry, I got a little aggressive there. Anyway, that was pretty fun. It was kind of cool to interact with you guys that way. I know I interact with a lot of you through the comments and on Instagram and Twitter and even the DMs, but doing it this way is really cool because it also helps provide value for a lot of people that may have questions that need to be answered. And so what do you think? Do you like this format? I'm considering doing this more often. I'm considering going live one of these days. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Also, still not done with the YouTube studio office. I still gotta decide what I'm gonna put on that wall. Not quite sure yet, but if you have any recommendations, then please let me know. Let's see what else. If you guys have any further questions about filmmaking or camera gear, then let me know in the comments below and I'd love to help you out. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.